Yep, we're still talking about the iPhone 8, but apparently we've got another leak and I thought it'd be interesting to talk about. We're removing bezels, right? Or at least shrinking them as much as possible. We've seen that in many concept photos, and in lots of them we have a little bit of bezel at the top or maybe the bottom, maybe a little bit of both. And that bottom bezel we've kind of seen before with the Mi Mix earlier last year. When they do that, there's several different approaches they have to do to common things in order to make that top of the phone bezel free. So with the Mi Mix, they built the earpiece into the display, which is very creative and original. They also moved the front-facing camera to the bottom bezel, which is kind of different, and I don't think a lot of people are used to that. You don't really want a lower angle of yourself when you're taking selfies, but they made it work. It's a unique approach. Lots of changes like that have to be made. Now, I think it would actually be better for the iPhone 8 to keep the top chin. Now, I think it would actually be better for the iPhone 8 to remove the bottom chin in the bezel form and just have the display go all the way down to the bottom. That way we can retain that slight bezel on the top, and that can keep our earpiece for stereo speakers as well as the front-facing camera up high so that our selfies still look pristine. In a new patent link recently introduced this idea to me that the bottom of the iPhone 8 can be more than just an extension of everyone's wallpaper, which yes, looks cool, but it should be more than just aesthetic. I'm thinking there could be a much more functional approach, which we all know my biggest gripe with the iPhone 8 is you're all excited about things that are not functional. They look cool, which is nice. You know, we like our phones to look cool, but a lot of phones this year are not going to be very functional. We're kind of reaching a limit with what our smartphones can do, and I would really love to see the removal of bezels open up more opportunities for functionality, not just making it look cooler. We've seen a few concepts of this now because we've read that Apple is going to be building the fingerprint reader into the display, which obviously opens up a lot of opportunity. Now, there are some concept photos like this where the home button is more than just a single point on the bottom. It takes up lots of space, and the big advantage here is we could have third parties take advantage of this function bar, which I guess is my running name for it, because I don't want to call it touch bar because the iPhone is a touch screen anyway, so that's redundant. It's a part of the phone that's not really supposed to be an extension of the display, but more of functionality. So more options open up for you to interact with the phone. For instance, maybe we could add optional back and multitasking buttons so that Apple could have a foot in the door when they're trying to convert Android users to iPhone. Who am I kidding? That won't happen. Apple doesn't like that kind of thing. But where the home button usually is, we could get third parties to put their own toolbars that they usually have at the bottom of their apps into that embedded display, and we kind of keep our home button off to the side. Like with Snapchat, we have those three options at the bottom. Let's push those all the way down and then have the home button kind of off to the side a little bit. Or with Instagram, we've got those 5 tabs. Same with Facebook. Imagine those apps beautifully going to edge, even at the bottom of the display. And some people have even theorized about putting control center widgets down there so that you don't have to swipe up. I think that's presenting too much information at the same time, but you're onto something. Say if we have that giant home bar at the bottom instead of a home button, say you swipe to that and then you can access control widgets. Or swipe again and get play pause menu, or brightness control, volume control. Some patents are even saying video game controls could be built into the side there. Lots of different things are possible with that function bar. I think the possibilities there are endless, which would add lots of different functionality to the iPhone 8, which is something we desperately need this year because everyone's just kind of focused on making sure the phone looks cool, and I want to go beyond that. Removing bezels is fine because it'll look cooler, but it would kind of suck if the only advantage to removing bezels is that your display, your wallpaper looks a little bigger. I want to see all of your ideas for the hashtag function bar in the comments below and on Twitter, because functionality is the one thing that's running low in 2017, not just less bezels. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.